All right, guys, we are live. It's Jason with Kentucky Sustainable Living. I've got Shelly with Two Old Crows Homestead, and we've got Grumpy Acres tonight for Festival Friday. So, Grumpy, I guess started out, there might be a few people that don't know what Grumpy Acres is, that kind of stuff. Kind of give us some background, kind of your backstory and what y'all have going on.
So we started out as I started out as a prepper in 2000 and progressed down that road. And she came on board 2008 during the collapse, basically.
Somewhere around there.
She came on board. We were living in the suburbs. Then we moved out to a smaller rural community, but we were still in town. And we started raising animals. We had quail and rabbits, and that was our gateway drug into homesteading. And so we progressed and we bought a homestead, and it was a really nice one, and we were developing it, and we were there for about 8 years. And I was working for the government, working for the DOD. And they came down and said everybody had to take the jab. And I said no, and we talked about it. So we sold everything, exited the system as best we could, got out of the stock market, bought a piece of property in northeastern rural Kansas, joined an existing community that we've been building relationships with over the last 12 years, and basically started over in 2021.
Yep.
Basically started over in 2021.
Not basically, we started all over.
Moved to working homestead, 182 miles in less than 45 days, animals and all.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And we started the channel before we actually moved, and the channel, Grumpy Acres Farm, actually started out as a homesteading. We were trying to do homesteading content, and since we moved, it's turned more into a talk about community and being prepared. Because number one, through this whole thing, we realized how important community is and how undervalued it is to most people. And had it not been for community, we would not have been able to make it. Sorry about that.
Turn that fan off. I can hear it in here.
I don't think that's our thing.
Nope, it's not.
Nope, it's not ours.
It's mine. I can turn mine off. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Okay. But communities become paramount in our life, and we're trying to spread the message and get people to understand that. The second thing is we talk more about freedom and being prepared and sustainable living now, because if we believe is going to happen, it's going to be more important than ever.
Not just that, but when we started eating clean, I realized how sick I really was. And eating our own food, huge difference in me cooking and not going out all the time and that kind of thing. Because being in real estate, you're constantly out, so you're eating out. And I just realized how sick I was getting. And now I have to be very, very careful where we eat out, because it just makes me sick. I'll break out in hives. I can't breathe, the whole 9 yards. And it's all the chemicals that they're putting in our food. So what we're trying to do is trying to get the community together so that, what do you say?
Chuck's dick eggs.
So funny. No, so funny. Chuck has some strange eggs over there. But yeah, so we, I forgot where I was. It's just that threw me off.
Eat clean.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do now is taking that clean food, because we're noticing a lot of the freeze-dried food that is already in stock on a lot of people's shelves is full of sodium and chemicals. A lot of that is made overseas and just packaged in the United States. So you really don't know what's in it. And so this way, by me freeze-drying it, packaging it, I know from the beginning to the end how it was made, what's in it, and I can make sure that I'm putting out a clean product.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me buying a freeze dryer was a game changer. I know exactly what's in it, and
Yes.
Most of the time it's our stuff that we've raised here, and what was in there. It was a big game changer for me.
Yeah, and the fun part is that now I've gotten a lot of community members on board that have farms and ranches and that kind of thing. So now we can source from a lot of them. So Tabletop Farm, we're actually going to be working with them to get a lot of the vegetables and things out of theirs. They actually do farmers markets and all of that. So she has a lot more variety than I do. So it was one of the things we've noticed with the festival calendar and the way everything's going. I'm scrambling to even get a garden in.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's tough, and I don't want to hire anybody to do it.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot to be said about your freeze dried stuff. Just like you said, a lot of the stuff's made in China, or you don't know where it's coming from.
Right.
And I know a lot of people. I see it all the time. People post on Facebook, "Where's the cheapest freeze dried food that I can buy?" And it's like, why are you gonna stake your life on the cheapest stuff ever?
Right. And
medical supplies too. I mean, Chuck gets on this, but medical supplies. Where can I get the cheapest tourniquet? It's like, really, you're gonna bet your life on the cheapest tourniquet?
Well, Dell and Duff from Survival Preppers did a stream, and they tested our food and talked about our food. And Dell made the comment. He said at $15, our entrees are actually more expensive than, was it Patriots for Life, or was it Mountain House? One of the big five. It was one of the big five. You know, but the thing, and I didn't comment on it, but the point is, you know, ours are huge servings, right? And for $15, you're actually getting more than you are in the big five.
There's a huge difference in the calorie content and a huge difference in the sodium content. So when you start looking at that, you know, that's why ours are priced the way that they're priced. And we know where it came from. And unlike Mountain House, our meat is not powdered. It's not, you know, you're actually getting chunks. If you're buying a roast, you're getting roast. So just like what you would pull out of your crock pot at home.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had your fettuccine, your chicken fettuccine at Self-Reliance last time.
Yeah,
amazing. There were strips of chicken in there, not just little bitty crumbles of chicken like with other places.
Right.
And I mean, it was
so good.
Oh yeah, it was the best freeze-dried stuff I've ever had.
Oh, thank you.
It was it was like a regular meal that you had cooked fresh. Like the chicken wasn't weird or spongy or anything. It was like real chicken. It was so good.
Well, and what was really funny, if you remember, we were going to can spaghetti meat sauce. And so we had Darren buy spaghetti noodles and trying to do it on the campfire that day or on the event stove. The noodles just came out spongy. I wasn't able to do it right. It just didn't. I didn't like the quality of it. The freeze-dried food actually came out better. So there's that.
You know, and we've got our web store, grumpyacresfarm.com. We would just assume that everybody buy their own freeze dryer. Seriously. I mean, sure, we'd love to be able to make a living at this, but if we could get everybody to buy their own freeze dryer and become self-sufficient in that matter, you know, and we realize not everybody can afford it, and not everybody has time. Because you know, you've got one. You know how it is. It takes a lot of time to do this stuff.
Oh yeah, and the great thing about what y'all are doing with y'all's freeze dried, a lot of people now, the sodium content is one of the big things. People they're going from one diet to the next and in a grid down, or you know, shit hit the fan kind of deal. It's like you're going to be eating all this prepackaged stuff, and it's going to kill your body just on the sodium content alone.
Yeah, a little bit, so I'm not sure where we lost you, but that was just like the engagement that we did when we were speaking on preserving your food. Remember, we had that sample of the chicken a la king that was from 4 Patriots, and it had, I think it was 4 half-cup servings that was in there. So that was all you were getting reconstituted was a half a cup, and it was 1,760 grams of sodium.
Yeah.
Wow.
You want grumpy serving sizes, not commercial serving sizes.
With grumpy serving sizes, you're getting a full pound of meal, because I have to cook for a big guy. And when you're ranching and you're working and you're digging holes, you get hungry and you need those calories. And I just shipped out to Oregon. I just shipped out a care package that is going to a gal who is actually hiking for 6 months, and she's going all the way up to Canada, and she'll be in Oregon in 2 weeks. So,
she's on the Pacific Coast Trail.
Yeah,
we shipped her out a care package.
Yeah, so I just shipped that out today, and it will be at her location site on Tuesday, Monday.
That's cool.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I did that is because she was complaining that she was getting dehydrated and couldn't figure it out. And so I told her friend, I said, next time you talk to her, tell her to look at the sodium content. And another complaint she had was that she couldn't enjoy the meal. It did not taste like, so if she was eating a lasagna, what was called a lasagna, it did not taste like lasagna. And so I told Brianna that I would send her friend out a care package. So I think I sent her some chicken Alfredo and some other stuff.
Oh yeah, I have. When we're cooking stuff, especially like chilies and chicken and dumplings and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
I always have my wife make extra,
Mhm.
and whatever's left after a couple days that are the leftovers, I
Yeah.
throw those in and freeze dry it. And I showed my brother. He was like, "That looks a little weird." I reconstituted some chili and gave it to him. He was like, "This is freaking awesome."
Yeah. I freeze dried a whole bunch of chili for Shelly last year. Was it last year?
After the festival last year, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the thing about it is if you're approaching it from a prepper standpoint, you know, you save money by buying in bulk, right? So why not, instead of buying cans, you know, putting that extra money into cans, put that extra money in some fresh food. Instead of cooking 4 servings, cook 8 servings. And then if you've got a freeze dryer, you take those extra 4 servings and drop them right in the freeze dryer. And you'd be amazed at how quickly you can fill 5-gallon buckets full of freeze dried foods for a family of 4. And you end up with a 5-gallon bucket that, instead of it weighing 35 to 50 pounds, you've got a week's worth of food in it, and it only weighs like 5 to 10 pounds.
If even that.
Yeah.
If even that. So yeah, we've done a lot. Can we freeze dry?
That's fishy.
I don't want to preserve them. No, they all need to go.
They go in the wood chipper.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Did you see? Not to get on politics, but
But you're going to anyway.
did you? So there was a law a Republican came up with that they were trying to get passed through, and it was about of like the 3rd strike, and it was on human trafficking and that becoming a felony. They wanted it to be a felony, and then 3 strikes you're out, right?
Yeah.
And Democrats threw a fit and threw it out.
Yeah, that was in California.
California. SB 41 was going to make, they had to renegotiate it, and it went from all sex trafficking to just sex trafficking minors. They got it down to that, and it went into the Public Safety Committee, and it got voted down on a party line vote by the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats did not want to make sex trafficking children a felony and then to put it in the 3 strike category, you know, and that, but you know, and here's my question here, in all seriousness, you know, this is what the people of California want.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not what we want here.
Problem is, you can't lock out California from the rest of the United States.
I know that.
Those perps come here.
It's one of those things, you know, how do you fight it? It's what they want. They want that type of society out there.
Got
Yeah, and it's not everybody. California, if you take out the population centers, California is as red and Americana as the Midwest. The people that live in the Imperial Valley and up in the state of Johnson area, those people like their freedom, and they like it, you know.
We need
beginning to think
porterhouse for governor.
There
Yeah.
you go.
I'm
I'd vote for
beginning
him.
to think, though, that some of these blue cities, like, they just don't want to criminalize anything. Like, it's just, you know, they just want everything to be a free for all or whatever, and not. I mean, how many times have you heard about they can't walk in? Well, our daughter Crystal used to work at Rural King where we live, and if somebody came in there and shoplifted, they weren't allowed to do anything.
right.
I mean, they weren't allowed to try to stop them. Nothing.
Yeah.
So, and that actually happened because somebody, a kid at another Rural King in another city, actually went out and chased somebody down and got shot. And so
Yeah.
then they came through and said none of the employees were allowed to apprehend or go after or whatever. I get that. I understand that. But it's just like, we're just supposed to let them do whatever, you know?
And we're the ones that pay for it in the end. The prices go up and we have to pay for it.
Right.
But they allow it. Look at what happened up in Seattle, up in Washington State. Look at what, when all of those riots were going on. It's happening in Kansas City. It was happening in Topeka. And literally just mobs would go into a store, grab as much stuff as they could and run out, and nothing was being done about it.
Well, and this is why, okay, so I worked in the inner city, and it was, in fact, the phone prefix that I worked in was the most violent area in the country for a little while.
Wow.
That's how bad it was. And that was in Kansas City. And these stores, the big chain stores, they put these stores in those areas, and they become loss leaders. They know they're not going to make money, but it's gotten so bad place that companies like CVS are leaving the inner city.
Yep.
And then they complain about it. They the politicians complain about these companies leaving. What are they supposed to do? I mean, they understand they're lost, but it gets so bad that it's unsustainable.
They're going broke. And,
Oh, yeah.
it's incredible the way things are going, but I don't understand it. But.
So that's the black pill. What's the white pill? How do we as homesteaders and preppers, how do we deal with this change in our society?
Well, I think you need to become more aware. I think you need to make sure that you're going to lectures and learning classes. I did see that Holton has a couple of classes about human trafficking and the signs, and that's happening. Well, it just happened July 11th, and then there's one August 1st. So I think the more people that speak out about it, the more people that get involved and educate people, I think it's a great thing. But like we said on Tuesday, we look up to go see. They used to, HHS would have white cards that showed the signs, and so I would hand these out to people. And then when they went to a restaurant, they could identify if their server, was being trafficked or not. And actually, there were quite a few places in Kansas City that got shut down the more we started speaking out and getting that material out. Well, I tried to log in and go get some of that material, and I couldn't get in. And in fact, you were saying there was another federal site that has completely scrubbed all the human trafficking information off. And this is just
the
Bidenomics, I guess.
The DHS homepage. Watching Tim Pool and one of the girls. Now, I have not checked this out, so just take this for what it's worth. She said she went Wayback Machine and compared the DHS homepage from 4 years ago to the one that's out there now. And
I saw that too.
Yeah, they took out all mention of open borders, helping trafficking. They took out they had the pop outs with the definitions of all the trafficking terms. They took all those off there, and it's just a completely different take on human trafficking from the Biden administration.
They're trying to sell it as normal, and folks, this is not normal. It's not.
They're trying to sell it as MAPS, the minor attracted person. So,
well, it's not even just minors. Look at the congressman. It was a few years ago that was, I can't remember Connecticut, Massachusetts, where it was, but it was somewhere up in the Northeast. And they get information that they have literally had a slave living in their house, taking care of their house and doing God only knows what, forced to work like this without pay and all of that. And so that's another part of the problem. And I'm sure that at Kentucky Sustainable Festival, when we all get there, that's one of the things the speaker will be talking about as well, because, the part of the reason why we have so many problems getting a hold on this is because so many government officials, judges, and police officers, and all kinds of stuff, people with money, that millionaires and all of that, is because they're involved. They're involved in it. And so the United States is quickly becoming the number one place for human trafficking, and it's sick. It's really sick.
So what's missing?
But what's missing from the sites, and are there any governmental sites with accurate training?
Vets for Child Rescues. Vets for Child Rescues. It's .org or .com. They've got a lot of resources on their website.
Yeah, they've got a lot of information, like how to identify things and all of that kind of stuff. You can definitely go check out them. You can go to V4, like the number 4CR.com, or Vets for Child Rescue. They've got all of those different web addresses.
Yeah.
And Tom Ballard's Underground Railroad is becoming it's getting a lot a lot of
Traction.
traction right now because of Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I went and saw that, and it's, if you have not seen that movie, go see it for sure.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
don't know if I can get through it, to be honest
We
with
might
you.
be going Sunday night. First time in about 15 years I've been to the movie theater.
Yeah. I
Well-
hope I can get through it. I'll just take a box of Kleenex with me.
It's not, the one thing that is good about it is that it's not graphic per se. I mean, you know what's going on, you know that there's bad stuff happening, and it wrecked me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I cried through probably 60% of it.
Yeah,
But-
see, that's what I'm afraid of, Shelly. And see, I worked in this department for quite a while and speaking engagements and all of that. And I got burnt out very quick because of some of the disgusting crap that I saw. And you never get that out of your head. It's with you all the time. So I don't know. I'm going to try, but I don't know.
Well, I kind of thought, at first I wasn't sure if I wanted to go see it because I don't know. But I kept thinking that I thought, well, there's kids out there that endure this, and I can sit through an hour and a half movie or 2 hour movie or whatever and endure that, considering what they go through is a lot worse than me having to do that. So
But also
that was
remember,
my mindset about it, but I mean, like Randy and I used to do foster care, and we have dealt with a lot of stuff, and it's absolutely the most horrific thing, like worse than anything I feel like our country has ever done. And to think that the United States is the number one consumer of this garbage, I mean, it makes me sick.
yeah. But it's also important to remember it's not just children, it's grown women.
Right, it's not. You're right. It's men and women and yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So it's very important to remember. And that's why I think it's really important to make sure that everybody knows those signs, because I guarantee you, once you know those signs and you have those signs memorized, you see it more than what you know. I guarantee you.
Okay, what Melly G says, the whole having the chips and stuff.
Yeah.
This is why we preach the message of building these alternative economies. We want to take and have a way to purchase stuff that does not entail going through the system.
Exactly.
And that's why we barter and we trade and we pay in precious metals if we want to, or we exchange hands. The thing that Tag pointed out was that in most Muslim communities, a dollar bill passes through 8 different hands before the taxman even gets his hands on it.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to start doing as homesteaders and preppers.
Yeah. And we've got it set up in KSL to where we got a spreadsheet that the members can update on stuff they've got for sale or they want to do stuff like that. Granted, we don't use it as much as we should, but it's set up and ready to go. I mean, Shelly and I are trading some stuff. We're trading we're trading lambs for pigs. So stuff like that, and it's great. I mean, you can cut the middle guy out for sure.
Yeah, we've done that. We ended up with 30 chickens in our freezer for a lamb. So, I love it. And it's just whatever each person thinks is fair to them that they're getting back in trade.
And we're doing a direct sale of a couple of lambs this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna ban some lambs tomorrow, aren't we, Shelly, if we get time?
Sometimes.
I quit banding. We had an issue with it. It was on Hax's lamb. I had sold them a lamb and I banded the tail and that darn thing kept getting infected, and she just had a hell of a time with it. And Billy actually made the comment and asked her, because they were talking on the phone, and Billy said, why even band them? It's not necessary. But we're also, they get certain medicine and things naturally that, like somebody's eaten all the wormwood. So we know that they've taken care of their deworming. Yeah, but they're dewormed now, so it's fine. So, you just keep that kind of stuff available to them. You really just don't have to worry about it.
The 3 amigos got out and destroyed our herbal chicken garden. Ate everything down to the nubs.
Hey, Bruce put his Traumachinos, or however you say it, Shelly, plants in today. How big are yours now, Shelly?
Oh my God. We went out there tonight when we were gone. We castrated one of our piglets this evening. And so when we were walking back to the barn today, I walked around the thing and I counted just on the outside edge. I counted like 15 tromboncinos just on the outside edge. And that whole patch is like 30 feet long by about 15 feet wide of tromboncinos. They're
okay. What are tromboncinos?
They're gourds, and they get huge. They're absolutely, if you can hang them on trellises and they'll be really long, and yeah, it's just a squash or whatever, but they'll be really long. They can get up to like 5 or 6 feet long, or if you leave them on the ground, they'll just curl up in big, just big round curls. And they're great to feed pigs and chickens, and they're just like pumpkins with being a dewormer and all that kind of stuff. But and they keep forever, because let me think. Last year at the Self-Reliance Festival in the fall, Billy and Michelle came to that one, and Michelle brought me one, and they had picked it in the late summer, and I didn't cut into that thing until like March, and it did not go bad. Like, it looked the exact same as when she gave it. They keep forever. So that's my goal with this, is like, you can actually harvest them. Like right now, I've got some small ones that are about that. I don't know. They're about 15 inches long, and you can harvest them at that size, and they're just like zucchini. You can cook them up and eat them and all that kind of stuff. But if you let them go and get really big, you can use them for fodder for your animals. And that's my goal, is to feed my animals with them.
And they're involuntary. We need to get some of those in.
I can send you some seeds.
That would be awesome.
I mean, out of the one that Michelle gave me, I got like 400 to 500 seeds out of it.
Oh, wow.
She got enough. She got enough that she gave me a Ziploc bag of seeds. I planted everything I wanted, and then Bruce at Leather Homestead, I gave him the rest.
Wow.
And those seeds are made around. They're in Kentucky now and Tennessee, and they started with Danny at Deep South, didn't they?
No, it was Sean and Beth Doherty is where Michelle originally got hers from. And then she's just been harvesting the seeds ever since then.
Hey, Shelly, tell Bruce how to pronounce it. He wants to know how to pronounce it every time.
Tromboncino. So Tromboncino.
Or just say big long squash, Bruce.
There you go.
Say big long squash.
Well, and that's
Bruce,
something.
That's your new Indian name, is Big Long Squash.
That's becoming really important. The days of buying seeds that come from someplace else for your land should probably go by the wayside. We need to start
getting them from each other,
getting local seeds and trading them, finding what works well in our area. That's one of the reasons why we push Buffalo Seed Company, because the seeds that they are producing are specifically made for Northeast Kansas right now. But
she was able to do seeds for
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, Lucy, my little homestead, my Crooked Little Homestead, she won a seed package from one of our giveaways, and she's got them up in Canada, and they're growing up there, and they're all drought resistant and
doing fantastic.
You don't have to use all the pesticides and everything on it, because they're made to be like truly natural seeds.
Very low maintenance.
These Tromboncino are very pest resistant as well.
Cool.
They do good in a lot of places. And that's one of the things on Billy's channel last year. He was doing guerrilla gardening.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was going out to like just on the side of the road and stuff and dropping those Tromboncino seeds, and he'd come back, a month or so later, and there'd be plants everywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Everywhere.
I saw that one where he almost got in trouble for planting.
The guy came up and was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. So sometimes you do need to ask for permission, but
another one, and we haven't grown any since we've been out here. We used to grow them a lot when we were at the old place. Loofah. Loofah is a fantastic replacement for cucumbers
and zucchini.
Because you number one, they're extremely drought resistant. Number two, they're pest resistant. The bugs in the Midwest don't like them, and you can eat them when they're small, they're only like that long, and they taste like a cross between a cucumber and a radish. They got that mild.
Depends on what size you get them and on how you peel them and that kind of thing. So we noticed two different tastes in size and then how I peeled them.
Yeah.
So, but they're also a delicacy and they can all be cooked well. Australia started doing it after they had squash bugs real bad down there. So they started doing it and they grow great and they can be a sponge. You can dry them out and then you have your loofah sponge.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've got multi-purposes. So we like them. I just need to get better seeds. My seeds are older. And last year's drought didn't help out either.
Hopefully I'll have a bunch of those because I've probably got at least 50 plants started here that are out in the food forest. I was trying to fill in some space. Hopefully they won't do like Shelly's and take over the whole food forest though.
Yeah, mine actually, I've been having to like push them back because I made a mistake and like lined them up the side of my garden and now they're trying to take over my raised beds.
Oh.
So I'm trying to push them out the other way so they'll go the other direction and they're doing that, but I keep having to go out every few days and take those little stringer things off and move them out.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you guys planting your food gardens because we were just starting to get to that point at the old place and we moved here and quite frankly, I don't have the time or energy to do a food forest. I've got all these other projects going on.
We just have to make it so that we're living first and then all the infrastructure's in, then we can go and do that. Now, we put some stuff in here and there.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
big thing is fencing because the animals keep getting out.
Yeah.
Right now, that's a big project this fall is to fence in a huge portion of the paddle.
That's what Hippocrates garden. He said, as the sun, I think it's a he. There. As the vines come out, just curl them around. That's what I've been doing. But you got to go out. Those plants, they were probably, I don't know, like a couple feet in diameter or whatever. And then we've been getting tons of rain and you come out 2 days later and they've taken over. Like, it's amazing how fast those things grow. It blows my mind.
Have you thought, or does that Tromboncino, that's what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the loofah? Because now I'm confused.
The Tromboncino, yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to make sure when she sends those seeds that those go out by the woods.
Put them. I wonder if they could choke out the bamboo. That'd be awesome.
That was brilliant.
This fall, I'm planning on expanding and doubling the size of the food forest we got here. That's the plan. So.
Bruce was telling us that there's people that use bamboo for biochar.
Yeah.
It's
maybe a way to choke it out if you want to get rid of it.
I'd love to set it on fire.
It's not high on the priority list right now. The priority with the bamboo is just to keep it from expanding more than it is right now. And it's going to be probably next year before I get to the point where I'm trying to get it taken care of and get it out, because we've got an acre and a half of vining bamboo. Never ever put vining bamboo in. It will run and it'll pop up 20-30 feet away from where it's planted and
it's going into the orchard. I've seen some out by the woods, the pond. It's everywhere.
If you get bamboo, get the clumping bamboo.
Just one of my squash plants on free sitters just now.
Okay,
I'll go look.
Let's check it out.
I've thought about doing some clumping bamboo on one of the property lines against the neighbor, just where it'll just grow up and let it do it. But I'll do the clumping if I wind up doing that.
Yeah, clumping's much better. You're gonna get better sized poles out of it anyway. This was stupid. We didn't do this. This was here when we moved in, but whoever did it wasn't thinking. So.
Well, it is a good thing. It's high in protein. The leaves are very high in protein, and it's fantastic fodder for the animals. And then you can use the canes for gardening.
I have bamboo canes in my tomato for my tomato plants.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the first year I've used them, and I'm actually liking them better.
They don't last more than a season or two.
Yeah.
they'll start going bad. So you're always gonna have to replace them. But they do, you know, if you
Hey,
learn how
Shelly,
to,
I know where you can get some.
yeah, you want us to bring you some? We can bring you a whole bunch.
Bring her a whole truckload.
So, okay, just to turn this back to the festival, you all are going to be coming. You all are going to be at Midwest Preparedness. You're going to be at SRF, right? So you're
Right.
going to be at the Self-Reliance Festival.
So
And-
our festival schedule between now and November looks like the first weekend in August, we're going to be in Hannibal for the Homesteading Life Conference, Doug and Stacy's Homesteading Life Conference.
Last weekend in August.
The last weekend in August, we're going to be in Marshfield, Missouri at the Ozark Homestead Expo Festival.
Expo.
Then the SRF is what, the third week in September?
Ooh,
It's in October.
In October.
You're
What's in September?
ahead. We've got stuff in September.
There's some in
Let me
September
get the
too.
calendar.
At the 22nd and 23rd, I think, is the Back to the Land Festival.
Back to Land. That's what I'm missing.
Are you coming to that one too?
Yep. As of right now, we are. I don't think we've got it scheduled yet. I don't think we've bought the vendor space, but
I gotta look. Did you see what's their cost on vendor space? I'm assuming it went up since they're at a different place.
Hold on, I'll look it up while y'all are talking.
So what we've got the per cap. So I'll be on the reservation on the third weekend in September. Fourth weekend's Back to the Land, and this one got canceled. Then we go over to October. In October, we will be at Midwest Preparedness Festival, then SRF, and then we'll be with you guys, Kentucky, the last weekend. And then November will be another per cap.
that's it. I told her after mid-November, nothing until next spring because I want a break.
Well, we're gonna start planning our spring one. We got to start planning it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, and we've been talking.
If you do one in spring, make sure that you're paying attention to a lot of the other festivals, because I know we'll be in Oklahoma. I know that'll be in March. And then I think they're moving that back to March.
We might be going to one in North Carolina. That's a brand new one.
North Carolina. And then, so there's quite a few. So if you're going to start planning that, you might give us the date ahead of time. If you want to
get it on the calendar.
We may get there and then you guys just say, we don't want to see you again.
We might. That's possible.
Possibility.
Shelly, what?
She would say that we don't want to see them anymore.
And we're speaking at Kentucky Sustainable too, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll let you.
Oh, you'll let us? Okay.
As long as you cuss a bunch.
I will.
And make sure there's young kids there too.
That's right. That's right.
The vendor fee for Back to the Land is $75.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, so we'll do Back to the Land. Yeah, I knew they were going to have to bring some prices up because of where they're doing it at. Kind of figured that out.
So you're going to have a booth set up at our festival and all of these other festivals. You're going to be selling freeze-dried food.
Mm-hmm.
And if you all are just now getting on this video, if you haven't tried Angela's freeze-dried food, you are totally missing out. The chicken Alfredo is to flip and die for. It's just like she just cooked it up. You wouldn't even know that it's been through a freeze dryer once she rehydrates it. And I'm just going to tell you straight up, those ham and cheese chips, oh my God. You talk about addictive. That is some, oh my God.
I know. I'm gonna have to make more before we go out there because somebody has been getting into the stash. So
I'm getting ready to order some more from you, but oh my God, they're so stinking good.
Yeah.
Keto or carnivore or anything like that, they're a delicious snack for that.
Yeah. You even like the pot roast straight out of the bag.
Oh yeah, I love the pot roast. It was so good.
Chuck wants his booth right beside Grumpy's booth.
So we are working. Chuck, we've talked with Chuck about it, and we're going to try to talk to some more vendors. And I think we're going to try this at SRF for the first time, maybe at Midwest Preparedness, whichever comes first.
I think we do it Midwest
to make a deal to help people. give people some discounts, but they got to do something first. They're not just going to get a discount. They're going to have to participate and be active in what's going on, so to speak. I don't want to give too much about it.
There's on the other side.
Yeah, Bruce wants to be on the other side.
You guys, they're just going to square us in.
So, as far as the festival goes, though, Angela and Garen are also going to be speakers at our festival. Can you give everybody like an idea? I know we've been talking freeze dried food and having a freeze dryer and everything, but just like you said earlier, not everybody can afford a freeze dryer. Can you just give us some insight into what else you'll be teaching about? Because it's an all-encompassing food preservation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we thought that was really important to do just because there's so many people on different levels. So we go into canning, we go into smoking, any way that you can preserve your food. So we like to speak a lot just to kind of give everybody some ideas and get outside the box where you could take your food preservation from the very beginner and still be able to speak to the very experienced.
Right.
You know, when you go to these festivals, that's the problem, is because you've got such a wide ranging. How do you give a presentation that appeals to somebody that's been doing it and has the same experience level as the speaker, but also talk to the person that's thinking about not even started yet. They're thinking about starting.
Right.
And that was I developed this, I thought was an awesome presentation, and we got there and I started thinking about it, and it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work for the situation. So we just kind of chucked it out the window and
let everybody ask their questions.
Went freeform.
And it really dove in. There was a lot of stuff, and I'm glad we did it that way because it opened our eyes. And now, as we're doing more festivals, a lot of the questions that are coming up, people are paralyzed. So they've started canning and they're doing vegetables and fruit, and they've got the jellies and jams down, but they're afraid, paralyzed by fear, to go into the meat. And then you have the people that I have so many jars on my shelves and all of this, and it's so much to preserve. Okay, well, what do you have? Okay, you have fish, you've got ham, you've got this. Somebody, do you guys have the YouTube channel open in your phone or next to the computer somewhere? There's an echo.
I've got mine, but I've got it turned all the way down.
I had mine next to the computer, so I moved it.
Okay.
Well, and the thing about the food preservation is, she talks a lot on the freeze drying and the canning portion of it, but we've done basically every type of food preservation, short of making hams, that long-term curing stuff that we haven't done. Well, we actually made homemade bacon.
Yeah, we do our bacon.
But we've tried it all. I'm the one that goes out and I experiment with making cheeses. In fact, I'm making yogurt this weekend. Canning bacon. You name it. We've given it a try, and we actually use these processes that we talk about. But and we're by no means experts at it. We're not. But we've got more experience than your average person at it, just because we've been doing this. I mean, we've been living this life for going on 12 years now.
Yeah, we were canning before that too. So,
and I find the whole food preservation thing fascinating. I read Joel Salatin's Folks of St. Norman. That was the book that got me on the track towards homesteading. And if you haven't read it, it's a fantastic book. It's an expose on how hard it is to start a food business and what it takes to do regenerative agriculture on your land, and how the food system in America is just so screwed up, and it's not normal. The way we get our food is not normal.
right.
And that's what got me down this road. So I started looking at all these different, things that our ancestors did, and I'm to the point now to where I want to put a old medieval castles had a wooden room on the north side of the castle that was in the shade. And that's where they kept all their cured meats, because they didn't have refrigeration.
Chuck, I actually have a recipe and a video on canning bacon. If you go to our playlist, you should be able to find it.
Yeah, it's dead simple.
Yeah,
it is dead simple. But it's stuff like that. And we try to talk about that stuff, and we want people, and I really like the freeform way that we did it. I like the freeform method of discussing it, because it's we can talk about stuff, but there's people out there, they've got these questions, and
the USDA just has so many people just like,
yeah,
and so they won't move forward, or they're afraid to take that extra step. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to get that heritage canning back. And so we don't call it rebel.
She'll be back in a minute, I hope.
Did we lose them?
I think.
Sorry about that. Are we back?
Yes.
Yep, you're back.
Yeah. So, we don't call it rebel canning anymore. We call it heritage canning, and we're trying to get that heritage canning out there. Rebel canning just got such a bad look, and people get mean. You get death threats, you get people just kill somebody, and how irresponsible, and this and that. But we've been eating this way for years and years and years, and none of us are dead yet. So
I see some crazy YouTube fights going on about canning. There's some crazy people out there. And, at the end of the day, don't you have that shirt that says "My Kitchen, My Rules"? I mean, at the end of the day, like, okay. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Whatever.
Right. Well, one of the other weird things is, like, he had a potluck today, and he said it's themed around hot dogs. And I said, well, I've got slaw canned that I canned last year. Do you want to take some coleslaw? And he said, sure, I'll take some coleslaw. Well, there's several people that say you cannot can coleslaw. How was the coleslaw?
it was good.
And everybody's asking for the recipe now. Did they know I had it canned?
Yes, I told them.
Yeah. So everybody ate it, and my son loves it. It's better than St. Louis style. So he absolutely loves it. But yeah, I can coleslaw. So there's that. There's just several simple things that you can do. I'm not sure.
Have you ever done the sausage? My dad's 85, and he told me he remembers his mom, they would have mason jars with the sausage, but they weren't canned. He said they would do sausage balls, pack them in the jars, and pour hot lard over it, and then do it that way. And he said when you wanted it, he said you'd warm it up, and he said you'd grab a sausage ball, squash it down, and then cook it, and then cover it back up with lard.
That's called potting. That's called potting, is what that's called. And they used to do it. They used to do it in the clay pots.
Yeah.
And basically all you're doing is you're covering with fat, creating an anaerobic environment that the bad stuff won't grow in.
And they did that with their pork chops too.
Yeah, you can do it with a lot. You can do it with a lot, actually. So we don't do that. I haven't gone that wild yet. So we'll see. If we lose refrigeration, we will be going.
If you guys want a good channel, Townsend and Sons. The guy's an 18th century reenactor, and he does the culinary stuff, and he goes through all the old preservation methods. He's got, and we tried some of his. In fact, I bought her reproduction cookbook that he puts out, and we're trying to go through it and get recipes.
We have to put it into today's English because it's not in today's English. It's old English. And so there's several different things that I kind of look at and I go, I don't know what the hell that is. And so, we have to go back and research and relook. And we're thinking about converting those into our cookbook in regular English.
And we've got an idea for a cookbook. Recipes for austere times, when you can't go to the store, what can you use as substitutions and really simple recipes that anybody can use, and that's not the only source that we're finding. And I scour the internet looking for these obscure old recipes and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do that. And then you're surprised because you got kind of go, oh, wait, I remember some sort of version of this, and this is good. And okay, we're going to keep this in our arsenal now and make sure that we keep this recipe going.
And when we're up talking with people about this stuff, we're not teaching them. We're
just sharing.
We're sharing our experience, because when you start, if somebody's paying me to tell them what to do, that's teaching, right? Other than that, I'm sharing my experience because somebody out there may have a different experience than I have that is better. And so we always want to keep keep our eyes and ears open for these techniques and processes that are better, and we always make it a point to say we're sharing our experience and not teaching.
Yeah.
Another thing on the list is I'm building a smokehouse this year.
Yep. Perfect.
It'll be a smokehouse.
Yeah.
And I learned, I haven't done it personally, but as far as curing country hams, I had a older couple that taught me. He's been doing it for years. He showed me how to cure the hams, and it seems dead simple on how to do it. I mean,
it is have the room and space to do it in. You gotta have the proper facilities. Yeah.
So and he cures all his hams and all his bacon the old school method. And I use his recipe for my bacon, which is essentially brown sugar and salt, and that's all that's on there.
Yep.
Yeah, and we've tried it. There's a couple of different ways to make bacon. The first way that we tried it, you basically packed it completely in salt. I mean, when I say pack it, I mean
I didn't care for that.
It was completely encased in salt, and it was extremely. Even if you soaked it afterward, after you sliced it and stuff, it was still extremely salty. But the method that she found is probably the one you're talking about, where you just lightly pat it and cut. Oh, yeah.
No, you score it. I don't know. I've heard that all day today, like something screeching.
You got a chicken or something out there making noise.
But I score it and then get my spices and everything mixed together. And then I go ahead and make sure I put everything in. It's a 10-day process for me if I don't put it in the smoker. Well, no, even if I put it in the smoker, it's a 10-day process for me.
Because we smoked it afterwards.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll do mine. I'll take the bellies and cut them down to where they'll fit in Ziploc bags. Just rub the salt and brown sugar on it, and then flip them each day. And I did mine for 14 days.
Did you?
And then rinse it off, pat it dry, put it back in the refrigerator for a night, and then take it out and cold smoke it. I can keep my wood smoker right at about 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll smoke it for about 3 or 4 hours is all that I do. Yeah. If you do it much longer, it gets too much smoke on it.
Yeah.
Now, if you can control your smoker to that level, have you tried cold smoking cheese yet?
No, not yet.
Give it a try, because it will. The cheese will last longer in the refrigerator, and it tastes so much better.
Really?
You don't want to get it up above about 90 degrees because it starts melting.
Yeah. I'll have to give that a try. But yeah, a smokehouse is on one of the projects we're going to do before the end of the year. Shelly, you need a smokehouse too.
Yeah, Randy would love that.
Yeah. We got Garen converted a commercial refrigerator. We call it Smokezilla Junior. And you can do what, 150 pounds?
Yeah, about 300.
Oh, 300. He'd do 300 pounds in that. It's big. So we like it.
Well, we are coming up on an hour. Angela, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
You can find us at grumpyacresfarm.com. And you can find us on Facebook, Grumpy Acres Farm. And you can find us on YouTube, Grumpy Acres Farm. And you can find us, did I say grumpyacresfarm.com? I don't know. Just remember Grumpy Acres Farm where you'll find us.
Yep.
We're there.
And if you want to come and see Garen and Angela, the Grumpy Acres, they're going to be at Kentucky Sustainable Living, October 28th and 29th. They're going to be doing a presentation on food preservation. They're also going to have a booth set up with the most amazing freeze-dried food you'll ever eat. And
now we expanded too. We've got some other things in there too, like
comfrey salve. I got the comfrey salve going. We've got the hori knives and
if you remember to bring
hormone. Yeah, if I remember to bring it all. Breeding hormone.
And we got some laser engraved stuff for the homestead. Yeah. Some home decor type of stuff.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Kind of expanded.
Yeah.
So you can check out our festival at KentuckySustainableLiving.com. There's a list on there of our speakers. I've actually got some more that we need to add this weekend. We're constantly updating that. So if you're curious as to what is going on with this festival, you can find out there. Also, the day before the festival. So the festival is free. The Saturday and Sunday festival is free. There's going to be hog processing. Darren Strong from Hacks for the Homesteader is going to be doing that, along with Billy Bond from Permapasture Farm. And then they're going to be doing the chicken processing, but I don't know that they know that yet. And then we've got, we're going to have Aaron T. Scott. We've got Greg Brand. We've got Emily Rock is going to be talking about dairy cows. We've got
some guy named Chuck.
Some guy named Chuck.
He does something.
And that,
so the day before the festival, the Chuck is going to be teaching a class that's called Homestead Medicine. And it is actually a class that you have to pay for. But y'all, I highly, highly recommend this class. If you have been to like a CPR first aid class, for your job or something, that is not this class. You're going to go to this class and learn how to assess people. You're going to learn how to use equipment that doesn't require, electricity. If the grid goes down or something, he's going to teach you how to do that. And he's going to teach you how to take care of somebody if you can't get them to the hospital, or maybe they've got a wound and you've got to take care of that wound for a couple months. He's going to teach you how to do that. This is such a beneficial class. You have no idea how much information you're going to get from this class. He's also going to be teaching another pay class on Sunday that is a Stop the Bleed class, and you'll actually leave that class with a tourniquet and a certification. So, and then also on Friday, Eric Johnson from Porterhouse and Teal is going to be teaching a guild class. So that's another pay class. You can come and take that class, and he'll teach you the fundamental parts of building a food forest. So if you've ever thought about doing that and want to know how to do that, Eric is going to be talking about that. We would love to have you. Go check out the website. And then the absolute most important thing that I feel like our festival is doing this year, we are raising money. We're having a benefit dinner on Saturday night. So the tickets are $250 a person. Now, for $250 a person, you're going to get to sit down with Garen and Angela and have dinner. All of our speakers are going to be staying and doing this dinner with us. And so you get to speak one-on-one with them if you have questions for them or whatever. You're also going to get a prime rib dinner. And then most of that $250 is going to go toward Vets for Child Rescue, because we are on a mission to raise $10,000 to pay for an operation. Forrest, the guy, if you haven't seen our video that we did with Forrest, go check that out. He's going to be coming, he said that it cost roughly $10,000 to do a sting operation, and they go and catch pedophiles, y'all. They go and rescue kids. They have a setup where they will, or not just kids, rescue anybody that's in sex trafficking. And they've got organizations that they work with to get these people counseling and a safe place to stay, and they help to get them back to their families or whatever it is that they need. So please come and support this dinner, because that is, oh my gosh, after going and seeing that movie, it's just, once you know, you're just responsible for that. You're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. Like, seriously, it's what it is. You can't watch that and know that there are 100 million children every year. I mean, you need to watch the movie.
There are more people in slavery now. There are more people in slavery now across the world than the height of the transatlantic slave trade.
Absolutely.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So go check out our website, register for our email. That way we know you're coming. We'd love to see you, shake hands with you, say hey, just come check us out.
Yeah. Hey, Chuck, I told you to email me. I'll get you the goulash meal. It's going to be gone before you get it.
Okay, Jason, on a different note, if we can talk Porterhouse into running for governor of California, we'll all get together and we'll go down to Mexico. Then we'll cross the border back into California. Then that way we can vote in California for him.
Yeah, we should be able to vote, right?
And
Plus we get a bunch of money too.
and we can identify as anything we want and get $300,000 to buy a house.
Hey, I'm game with it.
For shopping.
I'd go to Tijuana for a night to come back with a bunch of money and get away with whatever we wanted to do.
I'm not going to I don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
staying
I
the
don't
night
want
in
to go back to
Tijuana.
Tijuana.
I'm very fair complected. I don't know how well I would identify as anything, but I'll do whatever I can to help.
I've seen all kinds of stuff. You never know.
Well, we need to get a shirt that says Porterhouse for governor.
Right.
There you go.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
I'm gonna have my guy make one. Porterhouse.
I would totally wear that.
Put a broken California bear flag on it.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
That
All
has
right.
some implications right there. I kind of like that.
All right. Well, Grumpy, I'm glad that y'all got to come on here. We're probably gonna close it out, guys. Everybody, do like what Shelly said. Go to KentuckySustainableLiving.com. Check out the festival. Go to GrumpyAcres.com. Get some of the best freeze-dried food out there. And guys, I appreciate. Yeah, that's Chuck said that's gonna be my next shirt. So, but yeah, guys, we appreciate everybody being on here tonight. If y'all, Grumpy, y'all want to say anything else before we cut out?
I think
Go mob tag and bees live over at Life Done Free.
Check
Tell
them
them
out.
that Jason and Shelly sent you over and tell them what a good time you had here. Just
Hey,
get the word
Tag
out
is
about
going to
the-
be at the festival too. So you want to
Yeah.
come see Tag too.
Yeah, Tag's gonna be there. Spags will be there. Data. So,
Oh yeah, the whole crew, all of us will be there,
All
and
right.
so just yeah, everybody just make sure that like we always say, be 1% better tomorrow than you were today,
Go live a
and
life
go
done
live
free.
a life done free.
All right.
See y'all later.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Thanks for having us.